So how fast should they start tithing? You knew I was going to get there. I don't know why you're surprised.
I have an answer.
You knew I was going to bring it up.
Well, I always say that you can start teaching kids about money as young as 3 years old, which sounds really young.
No,
but
my parents, I tithed off my allowance.
yes, yeah, and you can learn, what work is and how you make money and all of that. And so when they get to around 5 years old, I always say that taking the money that they've earned around the house and splitting it up in 3 categories, getting the envelopes out, get the envelopes, and say giving first, saving second, spending third, and let them experience that. And it's such a gift when because I had parents that did this, taught us to give early on. And when you grow up with that's a habit in your life and you naturally just live your life like this, and I'm not perfect at it, but it changes your spirit. It changes who you are when you're able to give. And I find that a lot of people, especially believers, have the heart to give, but they don't have the money. But I would encourage you, no matter where you are, whether you're paying off debt or you're over here paying off your house, be giving something. Because what's difficult is when you start to look at your budget, it reveals so much of what you value. Right. And again, people still say to me, oh, Rachel, we don't have enough money to give. And I'm like, but you're paying Comcast every month.
That's right.
Like, what are your priorities? And giving, I stress this so much because it changes you. Because what I think ends up happening is you end up being more Christ-like, because we were made in the image of God. And God is the biggest giver of us all. Sure. I mean, he gave us his son. And so when you're emulating that, when you're acting that out, and not just money, every other part of your life, you become more like him. And being able to be in that, especially when you're getting out of debt, that's a huge blessing, because that's what changes. It's your heart and spirit that changes.
Here's what I find out with tithing. Tithing is usually the first time we think about obedience to Christ. Okay, I've become a Christian. I've made my profession of faith. I love being free from my sins. I've had that great, wash clean experience. Yes. And now I go to somebody and say, okay, what next? And they go, hey, you need to tithe.
You can give your money away.
Excuse me? I didn't know. Yes. I didn't know how to do it. But when you sit down and you say, okay, I'm going to start giving. Now, I'm kind of unusual from a lot of my friends. Start. I don't care if it's 1%, 2%. I don't care if it's a flat. Start. I believe our rabbi, Jesus, is alive, and he says to us all the time, if you will trust me, I will teach you. And if you trust him in this, however small your faith is at the beginning, he will teach you how to give. And so start. And when you do that, you will confront the idols that are in front of you, that have secretly taken parts of your life.
Yes.
You mentioned Comcast. Yeah, one, it's football season. Okay, I can be brave in basketball and baseball season, right. But I don't know how faithful I can be in football season. But I like having the news programs because I want to know. I don't want to come in here and you say, hey, did you see? And me, no, I didn't see that. I missed it.
Yes.
See, but that's an idol. That's something that got into me, that I need to release and let go and realize, it's really not that important. And that's a hard thing. But as you said, what Jeannie and I have learned is the freedom that comes from being able to give, the fun of being able to just being in a situation and somebody said, hey, if I had that, and you be able to say, hey, here's the money you need, go on. Well, I'll never pay you back. I'm not looking to be paid back. Yes. I've already, those are the moments that you just can't explain to anybody unless they're doing it.
Yeah, and on small scales of that stuff, it is so fun. And then I was talking to one of my parents' friends, and he's very wealthy. He's done very well, and he took his whole family on a 2-week Mediterranean cruise. So he took like all of his grandkids and everyone. So we're talking about that, and he said, yeah, and then he said, but last weekend I actually went down to East Nashville and I bought 300 bikes. He went to a store, bought 3, and he goes, I rented this huge box truck thing and put them all in there. And I just went out, opened it, and all these kids came out. And he's like, I gave away. And he goes, do you know how much more fun that even was than the cruise? The cruise was amazing and they were great. But what you leave with when you leave a situation like that is so different. And so it is the most fun you can have.
The reason the people of God can be generous is that the world has nothing we can buy that matters. So it's okay to give it away.
Yes,
because the
yes.
Father, through Christ, has given us what we need.